And welcome to the BBWL World Series version of The Recap. Today's game features the number 3 Bandits and the number 4 Knights. Both teams with different paths to get here. The Bandits, their 3rd straight World Series appearance, looking for a three-peat. And for the Knights, a team that didn't even make the playoffs last year, and now on this run to win a BBWL World Series title. Both teams staring each other down prior to the game inside of a photo op. Some teams probably more serious than others. Perkins just loving the moment, while others dialed in to win. Nonetheless, two really strong teams. The Knights had to walk off in their semifinal to get here, and the Bandits had to beat 2 solid opponents to make their way to a 3rd World Series. We'll get right down to the field. The Bandits going to start Eric Brown. He didn't get the start in Game 2. He wasn't needed, or Series 2 rather, but he's looking sharp here early on. He's going to strike out Keller on the high heat, and then he's going to get Koval to ground out here as he tosses it over to Brooks. Next batter, though, Nick Santiago, known for his clutch hitting, just misses a home run. As we take a look from the side cam here, this one hit just about 6 inches from the top of the wall, but a triple. So the go-ahead run on third base, but he's going to buckle Parentino and sit him down. Strike 3. Parentino was traded prior to the playoffs from the Bandits, so a little ironic play there. Knights, on the other hand, going to put Tyler Strock on the hill. He would walk the first batter, Brooks, but then he would get Tim Fazioli to chase and then swing through on the high power slider. Next batter, Eric Brown, going to walk. So 2 on. Next batter's Perkins. And the Bandits going to take an early 2-0 lead off of this IBB. Next batter, Brooks with a runner on third. Gonna foul out. Next batter, Fazioli. The camera gonna take a shot here. Look at this slow-mo. Bam. We'll come back to that later on in the game why that's relevant. But for now, the next batter, Fazioli's gonna walk, and now it is 1st and 3rd. Check swing, but it was called that he held. Irrelevant because the next batter, Brown, is going to ground out here to Koval. Nice little play, but we have a 2-0 game. Bandits over to the top of the 2nd inning. Next batter, Evan Kuhn. Going to fight off one. Doesn't quite get to the wall. Brooks cuts it off. And we got our first out of the 2nd inning. Next batter, Connor Tompkins. He would walk. Regular walk there to bring up Keller, who's been a strong hitter for the Knights all season long. He would foul out. And then Koval going to walk on 4 straight pitches. So that would make it a 2-1 game. Close one with the clutch hitting Santiago coming up. He would walk. So now we're 1st and 3rd. Back to Parentino looking to get some revenge. No, sir. Down on strikes again. He goes over to the bottom of the 2nd. Strock going to get Perkins to ground out to him. Out at 1st. Next batter, Brooks, is going to fight one off, and this one would kick outside into the high grass for a single as we check this one out from the side cam. Some solid English. Never got to the wall, though, so we got to run around 1st. Next batter, Fazioli, with 1 out and 1 on. He's going to go down swinging. Brown trying to get himself some insurance. He would foul out. And just like that, we're headed to the top of the 3rd. Going to have to do some damage here if they're going to take game 1. Kuhn strikes out swinging. And then Tompkins goes down swinging. And just like that, Bandits 1 out away from a win in game 1. Throws the first pitch for a strike. But this is when things get a little dicey. The camera takes a shot, and if you see here, you see Keller quickly walking away. A bit suspicious, maybe. What could he be up to? Nonetheless, the game gets delayed here a little bit. So next pitch going to be a ball down in the dirt. And then the next pitch is going to be high, but notice the camera gets knocked down again. And ironically, as the view comes back into play, you can see Keller once again walking away from the scene. As we take a look from the side cam, you can almost wonder here. You see the camera goes down, Keller looks back, and then looks again, and then looks back to see if anybody's watching. And one would maybe suspect that Keller was trying to tamper with the camera in an attempt to delay the game. Brooks had to swap the tripods. You see Keller there walking away. Again, speculation, one could only wonder, but nonetheless, the game is delayed for a good solid 5 minutes before things could come back into play. So at this point, it would be a 2-1 count to Keller once things got back to normal. So we'll take a look and see how things go from there. Next pitch is going to be a ball. That was actually ball 4. So after the suspicious Keller walk, Koval walks, the next batter, Santiago, would walk, and that would bring up Parentino, who, if he walks, the game would be tied here, and that he does. 2-2 game to bring up Kuhn. A walk here would give them the lead. How about an IBB? 5-2 now at this point. And that delay certainly hurt the Bandits. Next batter, Tompkins, a regular walk. Next batter, Keller, a regular walk. So now we have bases loaded with Stephen Koval at the dish. Brown going to fight out of it, though. Gets him to foul out. We got a 5-3 game as we head to the bottom of the third inning. Bandits with their backs against the wall. Going to make Strock work. Perkins walks, and then Brooks is going to double here. So now we have runners on second and third to bring up Fazioli. A swing could tie this game up. But Strock going to dial in, gets him on the outside corner, paints it. Next batter, Eric Brown's going to IBB. So now we have ourselves a 4-5 game with the tying run on third base. Next batter, Perkins, is going to walk. Just missed an IBB in that at-bat. And then Brooks going to hit a sharp ground ball to short. He bobbles it, but he keeps it within the window. And that is the second out. So just like that, the Knights, with the tying run on third base, going to get a ground out to Fazioli, and this win was huge because now they get to send their ace Stephen Koval to the mound in Game 2, and the Bandits knew it. They had to get Game 1 in order to give themselves a chance, so now they're going to have to really battle. Perkins off to a great start. He gets Keller in Game 2 to fly out, but the damage was done here early because Stephen Koval is going to get knighted at home plate after hitting an absolute bomb. Next batter, Santiago, going to go down swinging on the high rise, and then that would bring up Parentino. He would walk. Bandits trying to survive this first inning without too much damage. Next one's a ground ball to Perkins, who looks it in and sends it over to Brooks. Bottom one now. Stephen Koval coming off a 2-1 win to the Monstars in the semis. Going to throw a nasty power curve there to sit down Brooks. And then he'd get Fazioli to ground out here. Remember, at this point, the Knights are sitting on a 1-0 lead. High corner cheese looking. Brown going to sit down, so it's 1-0 as we head to the top of the second. Connor Tompkins would walk. Next batter, Keller, going to fly out once again. Perkins has his number so far, gets a little help on defense. This one was probably going to head out of the yard, but Brooks brings it back in. Koval, the pitcher, with a runner on, going to take Perkins deep and gone. That one made it to the road. So a 3-0 game at this point with their best arm on the hill. Next batter, Santiago, who won a World Series with the Grafton Lake Sharks in 2021, trying to add some insurance so he can get his second title. 4-0 at this point. Parentino hasn't had much damage here yet. Gonna get unlucky here and ground out to Perkins for the second out of the inning. Strock, the next batter, gonna single here. Rips one to Brooks. Can't handle it. That would go down as a single to bring up Tompkins. Tompkins has missed a few games this season, but boy, are the Knights happy he's here today as he lifts one deep and gone. 6-0 Knights. This is an elimination game for the Bandits. They're going to have to get something going if they have a chance to send this into game 3. Brooks, high heat by him. Koval continuing to deal. Next batter is going to be E. Brown. He goes down swinging. Fazioli went down looking on the previous batter, so he strikes out the side. Perkins then going to get Keller off the top of the fence. We got cut off in the camera view, but that one just squeaked over, and we got ourselves a 7-0 game. Not the way the Bandits plan things. Next batter, Koval gonna double. And then Santiago just misses a second home run of the game. He flies out to Brooks in deep center. And then Parentino is gonna walk on an IBB, rare occurrence for Perkins. So that would make it an 8-0 game. And then Strock would walk to bring up Tompkins. Perkins would sit him down. And that would bring up Keller. And the Knights continue to pour it on. He's going to double over the head of Fazioli. And it's 9-0. Perkins going to get his last out of the game here for a strikeout. A little positive heading into the bottom of the third. Bandits down to their last chance. A tall task here, down 9 with Koval on the hill. Another strikeout rather. 2 more in the inning. And there you have it. The Nassau Knights, after not even making the playoffs, they were the bottom of the barrel last year in 2023, facing the defending champion Bandits. And we have some new World Series champions here in the BBWL as we watch as the Knights celebrate. They deserved every bit of it. A come-from-behind win in Game 1, and then a dominant performance by World Series MVP Stephen Koval, who, ladies and gentlemen, throws a perfect game in the final game of the World Series. You can't script that any better for a team that didn't even make the playoffs. Koval came over to the Knights in the parity rules last year, and he has helped carry them. A shout out to Tyler Strock, who won 3 games throughout the course of the playoffs. No doubt a big reason why the Nassau Knights are your 2024 BBWL champions. Thanks for another great year, and thanks for joining us once again on The Recap.